Welcome back to Burford Field, and we actually have an expert broadcaster that has joined us here now. Actually, former head coach for the Lindsay Leopards, John Inman, and Coach Inman, former Coach Inman, I guess we could say now. Glad to have you with us.
Well, it's good. It's good to be here. I don't know who you've been talking to about my expertise in broadcasting, but I can assure you, you are going to be disappointed.
Well, I get, first of all, and we're watching here and kind of describing some of the action going here, even though at Coach Embry's request, we are not carrying this live as far as the video goes. But so I guess first reactions are, this your first season to be sitting here to start a football season instead of being on sidelines. How's that going? How's that feeling, I guess?
Well, up until tonight, it kind of just been, it's been obviously a little bit different. You get so used to the schedule of the summer being a football coach and the timeline and how everything comes through. And to be honest with you, the stress level for me this summer was down substantially over what it's been for the last 21 years. But at the same time, you get those feelings, and especially as you start to see these guys out here first day of pads, it really kind of brings it back for you a little bit. But I'm happy with what I'm doing right now. I'm happy for Coach Embry and all these coaches, and have high expectations for those guys. They're going to do a tremendous job with the football program. And as you can see right here, it looks like we're going to be pretty physical and aggressive defensively.
Well, and we've actually talked a little bit about you bring in Coach Joe Foster now as the offensive coordinator, as Coach Embry has moved up to head coach, and maybe Coach Embry's kind of giving him the green light, kind of do what you want. Maybe see a few things, wrinkles and things that we've not seen in Lindsay before.
Well, and actually, I turned the offense over to Joe last year, and
okay.
I was very careful about who we were able to hire and turning that over. But Coach Joe at Pauls Valley, he still knew all the signals, how we called everything, and of course he brought his ideas to the table and really was able to help us solve some issues that we had just with formations and how we call some things, with his expertise and what he brought from East Central. So obviously a very sharp guy, and now with another transition, maybe I held him back a little bit last year on some of the new implementation, but you're in the program and you kind of identify what your kids are good at and what fits your football team. And of course there's going to be changes year to year, but the structure of it seems to be, at least offensively, kind of the same as it's been. Defensively, though, they're completely new.
Well, and you mentioned as you sit down and put the headset on, you said we look like we've got probably our starting defense out there. So what do you think we're going to see different? You talked about the aggressiveness, probably number one.
Well, and it's not just my keen broadcasting eye that led me to believe that, but before I walked into the booth up here, I heard Coach Offalter call out "First D," so I knew what was coming.
There you go.
Probably shouldn't have told him myself there, but just team speed across the board. We're going to run well and kind of like we've been for the last few years. But a lot of these guys that are out here on the field right now started last year as sophomores or returning juniors. So we brought back, we knew we were going to bring back, obviously we lost a couple of really good football players up front last year and tough to replace. But when you're able to bring your core back, along with some kids like Shane Jones that just made a tackle there that wasn't able to be on the field full season last year. So when you start talking about what these guys can bring to the table and just knowing that these are still young kids and learning the game and learning it at the varsity level, so tremendously excited for what these guys can do.
And I just went blank on Glenn's name for a minute there. I can't believe I did that. Glenn talked with Coach Embry, had an interview with him a few days ago, and he talked about the two possibilities of quarterback. You got Brody Ramming and you've got Austin Hines that are coming back. Both of them good quarterbacks, and really you could probably put either one in at any given time and get the same production. Very good players. You've gone through seasons where you've had two quarterbacks that you could probably go in and out with. What are your thoughts about a two quarterback system, or is it really a good thing? Is it better to have one and use the other one only if the other guy gets hurt or needs a breather? What's your thoughts?
Well, the good thing about both of those kids that you just mentioned right there is they're smart football players. So either one of them can go on the field, they can run the offense. They know where the football needs to go. They're athletic. So the thing about it, and of course, with Cash leaving and he had a certain skill set, and obviously could throw the ball around really, really well, and Brody and Austin have a very similar skill set. So whatever the case may be. I know Coach Embry has the utmost confidence in both of those guys. Whatever the situation and the scenario, both of those guys can go in and do an outstanding job. And there's so much, sometimes rightfully so, there's so much emphasis placed on that position, but more so than any other sport that you'll play, this is a team game. And you may have an all-state quarterback, but if you don't have the guys up front, to secure the pass rush, it's not going to be as productive. So either one of those guys are more than capable. They're very, very similar in their skill set. So, whoever is playing, or if it's a two-quarterback system, the expectations are going to be the same.
Well, we talked about some of the guys that were coming back as we introduced the juniors and the seniors, and you bring back some of those guys up front like Tommy Cunningham and Bo Blankenship and Ethan Childers and some of those guys that, I think that maybe does make a big difference when you get that much experience coming back on the guys up front that have to open those holes and protect that quarterback.
Right, absolutely, and again, just going back to that continuity, and we graduated some really good football players last year. I don't mean any of this to discredit what they did for us, but we brought most of our kids back. We had a small senior class last year, and so that in-game experience, there's nothing like it. And you see that a lot of times, when freshmen moving up and trying to get that first dose of varsity, there's just a different speed. There's a different a different tempo to the game. So that can catch you off guard if you're kind of used to, if you're not used to it. And you see that a lot of times with kids, and there's a growing a learning curve and growth that has to take place. But when you have those kids that have had that experience as sophomores, maybe even sometimes as freshmen, you start to really see the productivity of that in their junior and senior year.
Well, we're looking forward to this season. It's exciting. I know it's been different for you, and it'll be different for us sitting up here in the booth and not going, well, here's your head coach.
Well,
so
the thing is, I was just asking some of the fans in the stands. I'm not sure, as far as some of the etiquette, what's appropriate and at what point in time are you supposed to scream, run the ball, or about time he called it. I mean, I don't know. You guys might you've had a little bit more time kind of witnessing some of that. So any of the tips that you can give me along that way, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, well, we've got all kinds of pointers. I promise you, we've coached behind you for a long time, so we can hand some to it. But again, John, thank you for being with us and taking the time to talk to us. I know you didn't come up here to do that, but Kevin kind of said, "Hey, come do this."
Wrangled me in.
Yeah, there you go. But enjoy talking with you, and good luck to you. We've it's been a real pleasure to watch you coach